I'm going to do something a little different with this batch. I'm going to try this word, Drauflassen, which, according to Brewing, this fella's pretty smart, it basically means, well, this is what it says on the site: cooled and aerated wort is added to fill only a third to half of the fermenter capacity. Then the yeast is pitched. After 24 hours, when first signs of fermentation are visible and the first batch is at low Krausen, the second batch, which has been fully aerated, is added. So if that's too confusing, I get cube 1, put it in my kegmenter, add yeast. I wait 1 day and I add cube 2. So the deal with this is that in the first 24 hours yeast is growing and multiplying, so by the time you pitch the second one there'll be no harm done with any aeration, and you'll have awesome yeast numbers to support the size of the batch. So I'll get everything ready and here we go. So this is the first cube going in and the only cube for today. I've got a single pack of US-05. So only using a single pack for a double batch because the numbers will multiply in the first 24 hours. So if anything, it saves you $5 as well. So that's always nice. I always forget to take a little gravity sample, so I took one of them before I started pouring, just to make sure I'm all on track. Once that's done, I'll put all these bits on, chuck it in the fridge, and then wait till tomorrow. So that's 1 cube in the fermenter ready to go. I ferment US-05 for my pails at 19, so that's just what I'm used to. Extra cube for tomorrow, ready to go. If I had room I'd put it in there to get to the same temperature, but it's not a big deal. Got my sample, which is hard to read on the phone, but it's about 105.2, and I was expecting 105.0, so not too bad. And that is Drauflassen. I think that's how you say it. So this is day 2. This has been fermenting for 24 hours now, and it hasn't built pressure, which is that's a bit concerning. It's hard, like there's something, but not much. So I wonder if it's actually done anything, or whether I've just got a leak, perhaps. Maybe I've got a leak, who knows. But anyway, I'll pull that out. I'll put my tap cap on this one and I'll fill her up. Can't really see much inside because it's splashing around, but it didn't really look like a whole lot of activity, which is a bit concerning. But some yeast are slow to start, so I'm just going to pray that it was building some numbers. But I got the second cube going in now, so hopefully it's multiplied enough to be able to handle the extra wort that I'm putting in. This is a pale ale, so it's going to be quite hoppy, so oxidation will be pretty evident. Still only the 1 packet of US-05. Hopefully that yeast wasn't too out of date. Shouldn't have been out of date, but hopefully it wasn't too old. So I'll keep filling that up, seal it back up. I might seal it a bit tighter this time just to be sure. There was a lot of headspace as well, so maybe it just didn't get time to pressurize such a big vessel. I'll chuck it back in and I'll keep testing the gravity over the next week or so, and then I'll dry hop about 150 grams of Centennial. Only a little dry hop for double batch. This is 12 hours after putting in the second cube, so it's making pressure. Whether it's going to ferment healthily is yet to be seen. Okay, so we're on day 4, or 3 days after the extra cube. So making pressure, so definitely means it's fermenting, which is nice. So I'm just going to take a quick sample, see where we're at, because I don't know if it's fermenting quicker, slower, what it's doing. At least the dip tube stayed on this time, right? So that's always nice. That is so foamy. 10 psi would do that though, I guess. So I'll just leave that and I'll check it in a second. So this is the numbers: 1028, 29, 30. Whoop, come around. Let's just call that 28. So it's getting along. Started at 1052. So maybe in another day or two I'll dry hop. It's coming along pretty well. I'll give it a quick taste. I won't report on that unless it's really bad. 2 days later, we're sitting at, focus mate, focus, 101, it's probably 1016 once it's out in the open. So expected final gravity is 1010, so we've got 6 points to go. So I'm just going to weigh out 150 grams of Centennial and dry hop that. Alright, so disconnect my spunding valve. I'll have to chuck that back on. When I pull the pressure relief, this will actually foam up a lot, which I found out using the clear fermenter. So I'll gas it off in a few stages with, I don't know, 2 minutes between each pull. It'll probably foam pretty close to the top. We'll only know once I take it off. But just beware, maybe take about 5 to 10 minutes to degas the fermenter, just to allow that foam a little bit of time to settle. There, I've got my 150 of Centennial. That has got all the pressure gone. So be very careful not to drop the seal, gasket, O-ring, whatever you want to call it. As you can see, the foam is quite high. I'll try to do this quick so it's not open too long. Dry hop done. Liquid, yep, alright. That's done. And happy days. Let's do it back up. So do up this bad boy. It's me. I think it's my fridge making noises. Chuck the spunning valve back on and let it go for a few more days. Day 10 of fermentation, 9 days after the second cube has been put in. I'm now at final gravity, so I'll start my cold crush and then I'll do a bit of tasting once it's in the keg. This is the finished product. Nice colour, a bit cloudier than I would have hoped for, but or hazy or whatever the kids are saying these days. Tastes really nice though. No signs of yeast stress or any off flavors because of the technique. So I would call that a success and I'll do it again. If anything changes with the flavor, I'll be sure to update the description just so you know that it was an epic fail. But apart from that, game on.